Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. I can imagine you're very happy with what you saw from Adam Azim tonight.
Yeah, very happy. Superb. It's a joy to watch him, to be honest. It's like watching a master at work, the way he moves around the ring, the way he can hit you from anywhere. His inside work now as well, as at distance, is incredible. Yeah, as I say, joy to watch. It is like watching someone that has boxed all their life, and he has, and he's 22 years old against a former world champion, and Sergey couldn't even get a shot off. Yeah, unbelievable, patient, beautiful boxing.
When he's in that flow state, everything's ticking, everything's working, but he's chucking out a couple of low blows. He's sitting there thinking, this is the last thing we need. When you're looking this good.
The thing is you against other guys, that's not a low blow, but Sergey's he's crouching so low, and his body's so short at times that he's just throwing what he would throw in the gym, and usually that's a perfect body shot. But because of where Sergey was at, he was hitting him low every time, and in the end, I could hear the corner saying, Adam, no body shots
head
now.
Hunt.
Just to the head. And so that limited him in a way, because he just couldn't throw to the body. But yeah, obviously, it's one of the craziest, strangest things I've seen. But, fortunately, he kept his head, kept going. I think Sergey took so much punishment there. I think maybe his corner could have done him a favour a couple of rounds earlier. But yeah, it's always emotional seeing Adam Azim with his family, seeing how much it means to them, and just seeing how he develops, because he truly looks world class already. And yeah, amazing.
Time to bring up Dalton Smith then. I know you're going to get this a lot from everyone else waiting to speak to you. Yeah. Where do we go? What questions do we even ask now? Because Dalton's mandatory for the WBC world title. Adam's got the IBO. Eddie said in an interview I saw yesterday that he'd even have it as Azim versus Smith. He'd have Azim first.
Oh, thanks, Eddie.
Even though he believes Dalton's the A side.
Yeah, just like he let us have Eubank and Benn. I appreciate it, Eddie. It's very kind of you.
What happens in 2025 with those two? Do they cross paths?
I do think they do, but
this year?
I do. But Dalton Smith's career, and I feel sorry for him because I've seen in his interviews, he doesn't even like it. His whole career's become about Adam Azim. The guy, he's a 28-year-old guy on hopefully going for world titles, and his whole career's become about Adam.
Could the same be said about Adam and Dalton? Because they are the questions that will get asked to Adam and Shane and yourself about Dalton.
Adam Azim's yardstick is the world champions. That's where he wants to get to. He's not thinking about domestic level opponents. The fight's going to happen. It's going to happen on his journey to the top. But we want it to be the biggest fight possible. Look, we care about Adam Azim. We want him to be in the biggest nights possible. We want him to sell out the biggest arenas. He's 22 years old, and people forget that as well. But as I say, I think the fight will happen, and it will happen on the right terms. And I think Adam Azim is a clear favourite in that fight.
I know there's no ill feeling between you and Dalton, but will you be cheering Dalton on to get the WBC? Because then a WBC world title fight between the two.
That's what it's all about.
Is that level of fight that...
I would love Dalton Smith to go and win a world champion. He's going to become a world champion. He's going to have to box better opponents than he did last time, and you worry about the step up. But I'd love him to win a world title, and that's where the fight's going to be its biggest. Can Adam Azim ever be a pay-per-view star? He needs opponents like that. And yeah, look, I think the fighters are getting sick of it, and it's more to do with the promoters at this stage. But they're both developing well. And as I say, Adam Azim's only getting better and better and better. And yeah, it's scary because of how young he is. It's scary because he's still got so much to learn. And yeah, phenomenal talent. And for me, levels above anything else.
Yeah, looked really good tonight. Did we see the two sides of fighters jumping back into fights quickly? Scott Forrest didn't go the way he would have liked in the first round, but Callum Simpson got the result he wanted. Yeah,
look, both of them took a risk. And even Callum, you could see in the first couple of rounds, he was in a real fight. Elvis was everything we hoped for.
The soldier.
And more.
He loved it, didn't he, the soldier?
Oh, he loved it, and he loved every moment of it. And he could take a shot, and he could give a shot, and he was unorthodox. And he had me on the edge of my seat at times. It was a proper fight, proper scrap.
Probably the biggest haymakers I've seen anyone ever
throw. But Callum, wanted a scrap. He wants to be in those entertaining fights. He wants fans to enjoy watching him fight, and that was what he needs. And yeah, the numbers that fight did this week because of Elvis was special, and that's what builds a star. And yeah, Callum is just such an entertaining fighter. Fights with such intensity. Sometimes he could take it easy. He could have boxed his head off and he could have stayed at distance, but he wanted to have a scrap and finished really well. He's a star, and his fan base is ridiculous, and he'll now get his stadium night, and really, really good win. Scott Forrest, I would like to make the rematch. I think 3 weeks notice, Aurelian that we knew he was an unbelievable fighter from everything you hear in the gym, but Scott's a very, very good fighter as well. He just got caught, and I've seen a lot of people saying the ref stopped it too soon. I'm not sure, like he did get caught heavy there, and great fight. Would have been a great fight if it had kept going, and maybe we see the rematch.
In terms of Callum and Oakwell, is Pacheco unrealistic, do you think?
I don't think it's...
Are we going to see, realistically, is it going to be Callum Simpson, Mark Jeffers, which is a brilliant fight?
I think it's definitely a fight that we've got our eye on. I think it would be a great fight. We're talking about a lot of matchroom boxer fights at the moment, and that would be another special one.
Let's do the card. Let's do the matchroom boxer card.
Listen, it's tasty at the moment. There's a lot. I think for Eubank, Benn 2, where there's going to be a rematch, I think that would be a perfect night for matchroom boxer. And as I say, there's some massive fights warming up. But for me tonight was all about Adam Azim and Callum as well.
Talking about Eubank, Ben, have you called Chris Eubank Senior this week?
No, I haven't. Look, it was inevitable. And
you feel like he was taking a bit of a swipe at you and Eddie?
I don't think he was taking a swipe at me. I think I understand his frustration. We're all frustrated. I'm not going to say too much. The weights are something to be agreed by the fighters. But he's a dad that cares about his son, and you have to respect that. And he'll always be in Chris's corner. And fingers crossed, he'll be there on the night.
Why do you think he thinks this fight won't happen? Where's that? Because obviously Chris has signed a contract, Conor signed a contract. We know there's not as much involvement from Senior with Junior now. Like, what's his reasoning for saying it won't happen?
I don't know.
All the people involved, yourself, Eddie, His Excellency, it's going to happen. Like,
it is. I don't know.
Caroline Dubois, her opponent. What can you tell us about her?
Listen, she is probably the most dangerous, I would say, and I'll give this, outside of Caroline Dubois and Beatrice Ferreira, Bomi Ray-Shen is the toughest opponent in that division. Watch all our fights. It's going to be an absolute firefight. And to take that fight on this notice on March the 7th, it's a huge night for her. It's a huge night for us, Lauren Price, Natasha Jonas. It continues Caroline's career. She wants to unify. I can promise you this. Within 12 months, she wants to have every single belt. And that means Terry Harper. That means Beatrice Ferreira. Those fights are going to happen, and they're going to be lined up one after the other. Hopefully the headline nights. Hopefully when Caroline Dubois faces even Terry Harper, that will be a headline show. Hopefully when she fights Beatrice Ferreira, that will be a headline show. And Caroline become the face of women's boxing. I really believe that.
That matchroom boxer theme keeps going on. Final one. Do you know who was loving it tonight? Martin Bakole. Walking around, loving life, loving the cameras.
The #1 heavyweight in the world.
What did you and him speak about tonight?
Just how excited we are, because it's been so difficult in the sense to get in fights for so long, and then we got the major win really out in the States, and it's just blown up, and it's just, the hype train's there. Like, it's been, Martin was never going to be the one that ran his mouth necessarily in terms of just creating numbers with viral moments. He's not British, he's not American, so we had to do his talking in the ring, and now it's really motoring. So many people are interested in Martin Bakole. He's massive in the States, and his next fight will be over there. I'm just excited because I
bet you wish it wouldn't have taken this long since that win against Jared Anderson.
Everything happens in good time, and look, Kabayel didn't want to fight him, Zhang didn't want to fight him, and we just had to wait through the list, and we were convinced the Jabba wasn't going to sign, and he signed, and you have to give him credit. He's obviously got a big set of balls, and he's ready to go in there with Martin Bakole, and it will be a great fight. But being one fight away from fighting for a heavyweight world title is very exciting, and I think it's going to upset a lot of people in the industry when he takes over the heavyweight division.